Yo, what's going on, everyone? In today's video, I'm going to be explaining why Chainlink or a link has one of the best textbook setups from a technical analysis standpoint for a possible move to not only new all-time highs, but possibly even further from a neutral conservative standpoint. This is one of those coins where we let the charts do the speaking without any emotional bias attached that gives us a clear, higher risk reward trade possibility. Now, nothing is certain in life, and that applies to the same to the markets, but that is why we work with what I like to call calculated risk. For one, I don't know anything about this coin, nor do I care about this coin fundamentally, so you can tell me all about it and I wouldn't care. But one thing I can tell you is that it has one of the best technical setups. This technical setup is achieved by using what is known as the Elliott Wave theory, which I specialize in. Let me tell you why. Now, for those that are new, what is the Elliott Wave theory? The Elliott Wave theory is a form of technical analysis that suggests financial markets move in repetitive cycles known as waves, influenced by collective investor psychology. These waves are categorized into impulsive 5 waves, which move in the direction of the primary trend, and corrective waves known as the ABCs or lettered phase that moves against the trend. So forming a pattern of 5 upward waves and 3 downward waves helps us complete one cycle degree of the parent degree. So 5 waves up, you create one larger degree, as you can see by the indicated parentheses 1. So if you look on the left, by completing one parent degree to the upside with more history being built, that can be built on a larger time frame scale as well. So these waves can be applied at multiple levels or scales like you see on the right chart. So if you look at this one degree right here at a higher degree can be applied as you build 5 waves to the upside that can be built on a larger time frame as well. So that is beautiful how the Elliott Wave theory works. So the higher the time frame, the better it is for a higher risk reward trade and also a better overview of the trend in which it may be going. In this case, we're looking for the upside. This means that with each wave can be broken down into smaller subwaves, and each of these subwaves in turn can also be broken down into smaller subwaves and so forth. So while the fractal nature suggests a potentially infinite application in practice, which is the keyword, the utility of the Elliott Wave theory is limited by factors such as the availability of data. That is why chart history is very important. But let me tell you, Chainlink actually provides significant history. It's been trading since 2018, which is quite a long time considering how long crypto has been alive, right? Bitcoin has been trading for over a decade. A lot of these altcoins or, dino coins, I would say Link is also one of those dinosaur coins, has been trading since 2016 or 2017 or 2018 during what is known as the ICO phase. Now let's get into the Elliott Wave theory. Let's talk about why we're going to see potentially higher levels. So as you can see, with the current data given from its history, we have a potential 5-wave move up. This was an incredibly bullish phase during that 2018 to 2020 phase where we created 5-wave moves up. So if you look on this chart right here, this is 5 waves up into a larger degree wave 1. We got that same idea here. So what are we looking for next? We're looking for what is known as the lettered corrective phase. Now, we're not going to go too deep into what kind of lettered phases we can create because there are complex corrections. There's a lot of rules and guidelines that fit into this. But as you can see, we have a possible W, X, Y, X, Z. This is creating what is known as a triple zigzag. This is completing that possibility of a wave 2. That is known as the lettered corrective phase. And if you look again on this chart, we now have completed that one cycle 5 and 3 wave lettered corrective phase to the downside. That is creating that larger 1, 2. So where do we fit on the larger incomplete cycle? We may be sitting right here where we completed that wave 2, and we may be working for a larger wave 3 of a higher degree. And in that case, that is exactly what we're looking for here, ladies and gentlemen. We have everything being set up to us, and that is exactly what we're going to be looking for. And again, what did I say earlier? We may be creating a smaller version of all these cycle degrees and factors of these smaller 5-wave moves up and 3-wave moves down. That is exactly what we're getting on a smaller scale. So wave 3s, again, are comprised of 5 waves as well. So if we look in this, we're looking for 5 waves up for a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside for that wave 3 that we were going to be looking for. That is exactly what we're doing. We have completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to this wave 1. We completed another lettered phase of a WXY, which is a complex correction. We came down into these major Fibonacci levels of the 618 or the 1.618, depending on how you're looking at this or which trend-based Fibonacci extension you may be looking at. But for now, we came into a very, very important level of confluence. We're now looking for a possible bounce out of here. And again, on a smaller scale, we're looking for another 5-wave move up just for this wave 3 of this wave 3. We're going to be looking for another lettered corrective phase and then 5, and that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, completing that larger wave 3 to the upside. So it can be a little bit confusing, ladies and gentlemen. This video is intended for more those that are new to the Elliott Wave theory and why I'm choosing the link or Chainlink as one of the possibilities. Usually in my videos, I go in more into advanced concepts and like what kind of patterns there may be. But Chainlink, since it has so much history, I think that this is one of those coins where we really should be paying attention to, because it does show us a potential possibility that even without the Elliott Wave theory, we can be going for way new highs depending on how this is going to be playing out. And with that in mind, the Elliott Wave theory just helps us supplement on what kind of price action is being built. And based on that alone, this is a very textbook approach based on what is known as the Elliott Wave theory. So hopefully that was helpful, ladies and gentlemen. Even just the conservative target of the primary wave 3 to the upside, we're looking at even more than 1,000% gain just based on this alone. So if this continues and we're seeing Chainlink, whatever fundamental, maybe, again, I don't know anything about this coin. So for those that are, fundamentally articulate in this coin, comment down below and tell me what even this coin is even about. This coin is extremely bullish just from a technical analysis standpoint using the Elliott Wave theory. Thank you very much. If you haven't seen my previous videos on how Bitcoin is going to be playing out, please make sure to watch those videos, and why I also believe that we may be looking for further upside that also helps support why altcoins are still bullish going forward. Now, I can be completely wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong, but let me tell you one thing. The Elliott Wave theory is a game of probabilities. It doesn't show a certainty. That's one thing. But one thing is for sure, we have a very high probability based on the textbook Elliott Wave theory, and I can definitely tell you that those even studying this can see that this is a clear 1-2 that is now complete, and we may be working for a possible primary degree in the yellow of a wave 3 to the upside. That's bringing us potential targets of at least 1,000 to 2,000% gains. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very, 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 very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.